What's going on, you guys? You got Coach Zoe here. This is Simple Mom Fitness. We are coming at you with a hip mobility, activation, and elongation workout. So we're going to work those hips by activating the muscles, lengthening, to give you a nice range of motion today. This is great for all trimesters, okay, of our prenatal mamas. And you should have to modify very minimally. All right, so we're going to get started. Again, it is a cardio and mobility workout, okay? So we're gonna get started off with our warm-up. So let's just get started with some side-to-side jumping jacks. So just a nice lateral step side to side, bringing those arms overhead as we step and then down at our sides as our feet come together. All right, and just start at a pace that's good for you. Okay, so with our hip mobility, we're gonna work those large muscles that support the hips, so like our quads, our hamstrings, our glutes, and then all those little stabilizer muscles. All right, now reaching overhead, we're gonna squat down, draw our elbows to our sides. We're gonna work those stabilizer muscles, okay, to again activate, so not really strengthen, but just to bring some blood flow to those muscles. We are going to be contracting them, of course, obviously. And next, let's open up side to side, hug ourselves, and open up side to side. Don't worry about sitting too deep right now as we're just getting started. All right, but after we activate a certain muscle group, we're gonna follow it with a lengthening. So with like a dynamic stretch. We're not gonna really do any static stretching because we are doing a workout. So we don't really want to just hold and then go into a movement again of trying to contract that muscle. It's not going to work too well for us, okay, especially as our joints are getting a little looser. All right, and standing up tall, let's find a nice high march. All right, so bring those knees up as high as you can, and let's work those arms. Keep those working at your sides, elbows tucked in, tall posture. All right, so again, we're going to be kind of working through that in interval format. You'll have some miniature rest breaks for me really to just explain the next movement, okay? Obviously, if you need more rest, take your rest as you need. You can always pause the video. And we're gonna work through our hinge now. So just take your time to build up your hinge, okay? Push those hips back, keep your knees over your ankles. Nice parallel shins to each other, perpendicular to the floor. And I want that chest proud. Good, maybe get a little deeper if you can. If you need a wider stance, that's fine. Excellent. But again, we're not going to take really long breaks between our intervals, between our movements, because your mobility portions of the workout are going to be like an active recovery. Good, and let's bring those feet about hip width, maybe a little bit wider. Find that hinge motion. Reach your arms overhead and just step back. Just a gentle step back. And next we're going to alternate. So we're going to step back on each side and then out on each side. So back on each side, let me angle a little better, and out on each side. Of course, always make sure your water is near. If you need a drink, get it when you need to. But I suggest waiting for those rest moments. And we will have a break halfway through. So I won't work you to the death. All right, and let's find that side to side jumping jack again, maybe working a little bit faster. So today's workout is going to be mostly lower body focused, obviously, since we're doing a hip mobility workout. A little bit of that of those arms I'll work in just to get that cardio up a little bit more. But again, mostly lower body. All right, so keep moving, shake it out, get a quick drink. I'm going to set my timer and then we're going to get started, okay? So our first move is going to be just leg lift. So if you need a chair for balance, grab one. But we're gonna start with the front, side, and back. Let's begin. So front, side, and back. Staying on one leg, front, side, and back. So you can see, baby is big. I am due at any moment today. Okay, so my range of motion is not that great at this time. I can only lift my leg so high. We're gonna stay on that one side, all right? But do what works for you. Keep a soft bend in both knees. Next, keeping that same side grounded, okay, we're gonna sit into a chair squat. Okay, sit into a chair squat and then just stand up and refresh. Use a wall or again that chair if you need to for balance. I guess I should have told you that in the beginning. Grab a chair for balance. Okay, so we just worked this hip, right, with the leg lifts, and now we're opening it back up. Okay, while this other leg was getting a little rest. Go ahead and break. All right, next we're gonna do the same thing, but the other side. Okay, so quick shakeout, very short work. So we're gonna do our 30 seconds of our work time, our cardio, 30 seconds mobility, 15 seconds transition. Let's get started. So other leg now, and we're not swinging, we're lifting. Okay, front, side, and back. Really focus on engaging, right, in the hip flexors, those external rotators, right, that lateral lift, and then those little glute medius muscles. Good, we're almost there. And then we'll go right into that pigeon squat, but again, on the other side. In 3, 2, 1. Hold on to the wall if you need it, or a chair. And we're just gonna cross over. I'm gonna face you, I'm okay on balance. I'm gonna face you just so you can see another angle. This bottom leg, even though it's grounded, is doing a lot of stabilization during that this whole minute of work, okay? So our 30 seconds of cardio and then our 30 seconds of mobility. This grounded leg is doing a lot of stabilization, okay? And rest. Okay, next we're gonna do a 1 1/4 squat, 1 1/2 squat. I like 1 1/4 because really that's what it's gonna be. Okay, so we're just gonna drop all the way down into our squat. We're gonna come up halfway, go back down again, and stand up. Let's get started. So down, halfway, down, and up. I'm not bouncing. Okay, I'm staying controlled. Of course, work at a pace that's good for you, but we wanna focus on really engaging, squeezing your butt as you stand, and then we're gonna lengthen by going back down again. Okay, so your hip flexors are probably gonna whine a lot at you and your quads because we're kind of getting 2 reps in 1. Extra credit, always my favorite. Good, all right. And next we're gonna find a warrior, alternating warrior stance, okay? It's basically just like a standing lizard. We're gonna stay low, kind of keep that hinge almost like a chair in between, so that way we're still staying active. But whatever hip is open, whatever hip is long, is getting that dynamic stretch, okay? Be careful not to twist, okay, or at least twist too much. Listen to your body and rest. Perfect. Okay, next we're gonna do our side-to-side lunge. So take a nice wide stance. You could, of course, step into it, all right? If not, we're here keeping those feet grounded. I'm gonna step, let's get started. We're gonna hinge those hips back, but we are also squatting down at the same time, right? So I'm letting this knee bend, but I'm not letting it come too far forward. That's where that hinge and squat are kind of working together here. And we're just finding a nice alternate. Notice that the inner thigh, right, is getting some lengthening in, while that outer hip is getting quite a bit of work, okay? 3, 2, 1, and just stand up straight, and we're gonna side bend and alternate. So the outer hip, right, was getting all that contraction, and now we're gonna open it up. And you can alternate by reaching those arms overhead, or you can keep those arms down at your sides, but make sure you're lengthening as you reach, right? We're not scrunching our bodies. We got about 5 more seconds here and then a short break. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, next we're gonna work through a hinge motion. So hinge, right, kind of like our deadlift, basically a deadlift. Find as wide as the stance as you need. You could even do sumo if you'd like. Okay, but we're gonna hinge those hips back. Let's get started. Allowing those knees to bend and soften, but they stay over the ankles. That's very important. Now remember, with our bellies and our center of gravity being off, it's gonna be a little more challenging, okay? But, you know, do your best, okay? Really focus on keeping that spine nice and erect, nice and flat, big chest. And next we're gonna find a hamstring stretch, alternating. When you're ready, let's go. So kind of doing that hinge motion still, but we're just keeping one side nice and long, right? Again, it's dynamic because we're taking it through a range of motion. We're not just standing there and holding it. And the difference is that we're not, when we hold that muscle, we're getting a more deeper, relaxing type of stretch, whereas this is just opening that muscle up and then closing the door again. For 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right. Next, we're gonna get on our hands and knees, okay? And we're gonna find a fire hydrant, okay? So fire hydrant, staying on one side. Let's begin. Pull that belly in. Let's activate your core a little bit. And I know this feels kind of like, how exactly is this cardio? Right? Like cardio is running and jogging and jumping jacks and stuff like that. I know. Obviously I'm talking, so I'm a little more out of breath. But when your belly is so big and you're farther along that trimester and your trimesters, your body's doing a lot of work at all times. Good, and straighten that leg out, and we're gonna curl it. So here I'm kind of sneaking in a little bit of strength. Okay, same side. But again, we're extending through that hip flexor and quad right now. So we're getting the dynamic stretch to the front of the leg, the front of the body. And we're gonna stay here, short break, and then we switch again, okay? Good. And just take deep breaths. We're almost there. And rest. All right, we're gonna go through the other side. I'll switch for you. Okay, so again, just that fire hydrant. Okay, I wanna focus on keeping a 90-degree bend at the knee, okay? When you're ready, let's begin. Fire hydrants on the other side. Again, we're drawing that belly in, so our core is staying activated, okay? I know that's a little hard when your belly is quite heavy, but just do your best, okay? That vacuum, okay, even when you're not pregnant, not expecting, not postpartum, okay, that vacuum is gonna be one of your most essential core work that you can do. That's gonna support any overhead movement. And now we're gonna find that hamstring curl again. So you might feel your booty working a little bit. You'll of course feel that hamstring, okay? But we are lengthening through the back of the leg as we extend, and then when we bend the knee, we're lengthening through the quad and the hip flexor, okay? So we still are getting that lengthening stretch, that dynamic stretch, because we're taking it through a range of motion for 3, 2, and 1. Short break. All right. So we got a minute. So take a minute, get a quick drink of water. And just shake it out. If you're feeling antsy, don't feel antsy. No, I'm just kidding. Just shake it out, move around, roll out the neck. Whew, it is coming down here. Lots of hill. All right, ladies, are you ready? So we're gonna go through again, same time frame, same timetable, okay? This time, I'm gonna work a little more upper body into it, so you can kind of step up that cardio if you'd like. So get ready to rock and roll. Okay. All right, we got 10 more seconds. Sorry about that. All right, so we're gonna start back with that leg lift. So again, using your chair if you need to. Let's begin. Pick one side, forward, side, and back. And remember, this bottom leg is stabilizing. Keep a soft bend in the knee. So if we want to work our upper body, oops, get a little more cardio into it. Whew. Let's do this. Arms up, arms out, arms back. Yeah. Arms up, arms out, arms back, or just the one side. And now we're going to do that pigeon squat. Okay, step it down, pigeon squat. So this is our mobility, so our active recovery. And it doesn't take a lot at this point to really get your heart rate up. If you're in your third trimester, if you're in your second, okay, maybe even do this round, this one more time through. If you want just a little extra, a little extra credit for 3, 2, 1, and rest. So now we're gonna go back to the other side. Okay, same thing. So this time, sorry, I messed you up on that. We're gonna go forward as we lift up, out as we lift to the side, and then back with those arms as we go back. Again, you could just do the one side if you're holding on. Let's begin. Arms up, arms out, arms back. And now, yes, we are working the upper body into it. So again, get that cardio, but I don't want you to just be focused on balancing. So that's why I said just use one hand if you need. I want you to still focus on activating those hips, okay? Remember what the point of this workout is, to increase that hip mobility. And we gotta work the kinks out. Great, and next we're gonna do our pigeon squat. So crossing over and sitting down. Okay, crossing over, sitting down. Keep going, I'm gonna face you. We want that ankle to be just past the knee. Okay, because we don't wanna be directly on the ankle or directly on the knee. We wanna be just above the joints, so we're not putting any unnecessary pressure, okay? And just sit back as far as you can. Belly is so big for me right now, baby is so low. I don't get that deep. Go ahead and rest. Okay, but if you're a little higher up, you probably can still sit back quite a bit. It helps too if you can hold on to something. Okay, next we're gonna go to our 1 1/4 squat. So again, all the way down, halfway, down, and up. Let's begin. Down, halfway, down, and up. Down, halfway, down, and up. Down, halfway, down, and up. And I want you to really focus on squeezing your butt from the underside, okay, through that full little range of motion down here. I shouldn't say full, through that little half range of motion here. So that's really gonna give you a nice little burn, right? Work the booty, right? I'm pretty sure every mom always wants that. And into our warrior step, we can work those arms now. So if you're a yogi, or you've done yoga, or you've seen a picture of a yoga pose, it's probably been of a warrior. And what we're doing here is we're just taking a nice big step back to open up through the hip of the back leg, okay? So again, we're keeping it lightly active. You can work those arms. If you're out of breath, you can keep them down and rest. All right, going into our side-to-side lunge next. So this time, if you want a little more cardio out of it, you want to work that upper body, hug and open, just like our warm-up. Hug and open, hug and open. Let's get started. You can step into it, or you can keep those feet grounded, whichever works for you. It's a little more power, it's a little more work if we're stepping into it. I'm sure you can tell I'm getting out of breath. But again, we want to push those hips back, hinge forward just a little bit, and really sink down into your hips. Good. Make sure you keep that heel really buried into the floor and your weight into the outer edges of the foot. Good. Standing up tall, we're gonna side bend. Side bend. Okay, we're trying to open, right, the side of that hip. So we're not doing really big movements here, especially if that belly's getting bigger. No need to stress your abdominals, but I want you to try to keep your eyes on the ceiling. Okay, so we're still just gonna reach side to side, because if we're looking forward, we tend to scrunch down, but we wanna keep that chest open. Good, and break. All right, we're almost there. Next, we're gonna go toward hinge or deadlift. Okay, if you're feeling extra, okay, we can do our hinge and then come up and reach, maybe even come onto our toes, or with a little hop. Let's get started, whichever you wanna do. Again, if you're feeling really pumped up, you wanna blast those hips forward, squeeze your butt, maybe come up with a little jump. Okay, that's awesome. If not, you can keep those hands down and just keep working at a pace that's good for you. Okay, I'm gonna keep reaching. We got less than 10 seconds. Remember, we're just going through one more time. We're almost there. Okay, so we really wanna make this count. Good, and hamstring stretch when you're ready. So working through that hinge, right? See the hinge? That deadlift, but that opposite leg is getting a nice little stretch. because that hinge is working the back, the posterior chain, the back of the body. So the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves, predominantly. Of course, pretty much, unless you're working machines, your legs are gonna always work everywhere, and rest. All right, 2 more rounds and you're done. We're gonna work our tabletop next. So our fire hydrants, and then that hamstring curl. I'm gonna turn just so you can see. All right, but fire hydrant, let's begin. Pick one side. And we're gonna keep that knee bent at a 90, right? Just like I said before. We wanna also make sure that we're not squeezing the heel to the butt, because, to the glute, I should say, because the closer that heel is, the less work, right, those little stabilizer muscles are getting. We really wanna activate those guys, because they keep your hips and your knees in check. They kind of keep you, I shouldn't say injury-free, but almost. And now we're gonna lengthen and then bend the knee. I shouldn't say lengthen the knee, but we're gonna flex and extend the knee, right, for that hamstring curl. So again, this position, I'm stretching through the quad and the hip flexors. Here, I'm getting a nice stretch through the hamstring. So kind of double whammy here. 5 more seconds. Pull that belly in. I was just sinking really bad, oh my goodness. And rest. We're gonna switch sides. Okay, so I don't know if you saw or noticed, my chest was really dropping down. Yeah, that's not good. I wasn't pushing the floor away. So push that floor away. Let's find the fire hydrant on the other side. Push that floor away, fingers open wide, and draw your belly in, okay? Again, knee is at a 90. And we're really squeezing that glute as we come up, staying slow and controlled. Again, this one isn't very, cardio-like, because we're not jumping around or bouncing around. But our upper body is getting isometric work, right, while our lower half is moving. So lots of stabilizing going on. And now our hamstring curl. Last movement, last 30 seconds of work. And I kind of snuck these hamstring curls in because yes, they're mobility, but they're also sneaky, right? We're doing some work here. I definitely can feel it, especially even in my pelvic floor. If it doesn't feel good, you could always touch. Kind of give yourself a bit of a break there. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. That is it, mama. So let's just take a quick second, shake it out, okay? Feeling at my feet, so let's roll those toes and ankles. Roll those toes and ankles. And just roll out your neck, nice and slow, go through our cool down. If you have a pony, whip it around. Mine is in a bun. All right, and let's take some nice, big, slow arm circles back. Open the chest. Keep those knees soft though. Try not to extend too much in the low back. Good, and once we're here, open those arms up and a big squeeze. Open up and a real big squeeze. One more, open up and a big squeeze. I know our upper bodies aren't doing too much. So let's cool down those lower bodies. Just do some outer hip circles, kind of external rotation. And as your belly gets bigger, you're going to naturally find that this motion, right, this direction of motion, is going to be almost where you always are, right? You're kind of walking like this, right? If we're doing the pregnancy waddle, or sleeping or sitting like that. So make sure you do some internal too. So coming across the body on the inside. You're not going to really be able to do too much because baby is there. But it's just good to work in that range of motion, okay? Good. And I'm just going to do some side-to-side leg lifts. Again, just to kind of let those muscles work a little bit, just to open up and relax. And just some light marches. And then finish off with some butt kicks. All right, moms, that is it. Thank you for joining me. All right, check out my post on hip mobility. All right, I'll tag it in here. But otherwise, thank you for joining me. Stay strong and stay tough.